Hello, welcome back to the video tutorial of Figma Advanced. Our topic for today's session is components. So let's get started. Today we will understand more about components and we'll also create some components. Once we have understood how components and instances work, then we will combine auto layout and components and create some components for a design. We will start with frames. Okay, I will first create a frame. So right now I'm creating a button that will be a master component for my design. Okay, so here this is my button. I will say this is my button component. Okay, now it needs to have a text. So I will bring the text and we will say button. Okay, now the text should be a little big. I will change certain properties to such that it matches the look and feel of a button. Okay, it's still so tiny and the line height being 120%. Now as we are creating this button, we will not want it to have a fixed width and height. When we create an auto layout, we will want it to occupy only the space of the text and the padding around it. So I'm adding an auto layout to this. Okay, here it's done. We already have this setting which says hub contents. It has been taken by default. Now what we have to do is we will give the spacing around this. So when you are creating a button, tip, whenever you are creating a button, always remember this, the spacing that you use for top and bottom. Okay, let's say I am using here 20. Your spacing on top and bottom is 20 and your spacing on left and right will be 2 times of this size. In this case, it's 40. So while creating a button, always remember the top and bottom padding, whatever is the value, the left and right spacing will be 2 times that value. Now whenever you are creating an auto layout, by default this will take a spacing of 10. We'll change it to 0 because we don't need it. Now here is my button. Let's give it some style. Okay, it has rounded edges. The color of the button will slightly be different. We'll keep it nice and vibrant so that we can see it on our dark background also. We will change the color of the text. Now remember we had learned about selection colors. I'll pick a selection color and I will change my color of the font. So this is it's too bright. We'll just make it a little more user friendly. And now white. Okay, so this is my button. Now let's say button is an element in the design which you will require in a lot of other pages. Okay, so what you have done here is you will define this as a component and you can use it everywhere. Okay, so we are defining this as a component. We have selected this, we have selected the frame and we will say create component. Okay, I'll click on this, or you can right click, create component, or you can use a shortcut which is Shift Command K. I'll go with this, create component. As we create component, the selection changes from blue to purple. The icon changes from the we had the auto layout icon. Now it's changed to a 4 rhombus filled icon. Now my component is sitting here. This is my master component. Okay, we will create a copy of this. I'll create a copy of this. Okay, and remember what can we do to repeat the action? Okay, in that case I'll have to bring it down. Control D. Okay, and remove one. So as you can see, the difference between this layer and these layers is all of this these are instances. We created a component here. All of these are instances. That is, it's connected to the component. Now we'll make some changes to the component and we'll see what happens to the instance. Okay, I will change the color. As you can see, the change of the color is applied on all the components. I'm using brighter colors so that we can see the difference dark. Okay, we will settle with, let's say, blue. Okay, we are changing the style of the font, the size of the font. We are changing the style, we're changing the font. Oops, this doesn't work for us. We'll go with Helvetica. Okay, and regular. No. Something else. Okay, let's stick to this for now. Okay, so as we can see, the master component is connected to all its instances, and any change that you make here, it will override on the instances. Now let's make a change in the instance and see what happens. Okay, I am picking this instance. Okay, we'll keep all of this together so that we know we haven't done anything to these instances. Now this is the one we are changing. I'm changing this to a green color. Now let's see if we change the component, what happens. Okay, so the connection that this component had with the master component, when we change the property, that is the color in this case, it lost the connection of the color. Now let's see if we change the font color, what happens. It will still change because that connection still retains. Now whenever you change a property, a design property in the instance, then it will lose the connection with its master component. The things that you can change here is the text, and you can adjust it the size that you want to use in your design. However, in this case, we also need to align it to center. Now if I change the size, then it's adapting. So there are certain properties that you can change. However, changing properties such as color, as we saw, by doing that we will know it will no more be connected. Certain properties will no more be connected to the master component, and you will not have that control over the design using component library. So that's about component.